baton.
Read it, run from it.
Mama said
all the same.
there'll be days, literally, just like this. Happy Friday to you, and you. Come on with it. Cowboys, are they really good? Enough with Brian Schottenheimer. Come on. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Be sure, and I mean just that, be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Let that friend, that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys, Sports Talk, and beyond. Come on. Are they really good? Enough. Come on. They say ain't no party like a cowboy party, but what about a Law Nation's groove? Yeah. Come on. Are you not entertained? Is this not why you're here? Come on with it. Hey, yo. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Shitting me? Are you shitting me?
Hey, what up, man? Shoot. What's going on with y'all names, man? You know, they got your government names out there. Oops. Hey, I'm telling y'all, Uncle Sam be on it. He gonna find out who tax evading, you know. Y'all better watch out. You better know better. You know what I'm saying? You know, you better know better. You better know better.
All I ask.
Yeah, you know. Road 26. Appreciate everybody, man, that's in the mix. My name is Law Nation. We talk Cowboys football and beyond, and we have the longest intro in life, but that's okay. The name of the game today will be Shotty. Is Shotty good enough to YouTube the ops? Hey, hush your mouth over there. Hush your mouth. I'm putting cases on all of y'all, you know, Jerry. That's your first name, Jerry, 75-4, you know. Come on with it. The ops for real, man. Getting all of y'all names and information. Appreciate y'all so much. As we continue to grind and shine, there are things that's on my mind that help elevate us to this place right here. And we're going to go over a few things. But first and foremost, before we get the show on the road, Boss Cowboy Sports reached out to me yesterday, and as well as Jay Tuck. Shout out to them boys. And they were saying that they were listening to a show with Jeff Kavanaugh and Brian Brodus or Broadus, that's the best way to say it, Brian Broadus, and they was going over giving out flowers and stuff like that. And I just want to play a quick snippet. They were talking about Voch Lombardi, shout out to him, and YouTube straight snitching on you, man. Yeah, Jeremy. Don't y'all hide now. Now we're Eric Oldhead Young Bull. Let's see what his name is. Come on, Nicole, shout out to you. Salute to everybody that's jumping in now. But just to make a longer story short, happy Friday to you all. Let's listen to this audio snippet.
I realize that the importance, and I know we're getting some content here in a second, but let me just tell a story. Yeah, I know we get in trouble doing this every once in a while, but I begged Voch to work, and he's like, bro, he goes, I am a huge fan, the draft show, what you did at Dallas Cowboys. And I go, no, you don't understand. You have a group of fans that I want to interact with. Your fan base is unique. They're smart. I had a lot of admiration for his group, and I had a lot of admiration for him. And that Skywalker Steele, all these guys that are doing law, all these guys that are doing this YouTube stuff. I want to be a part of that, man. That right there's the future of things. That's the future of things going up, I think.
All right, so before
so that's dope. Shout out to them too. Shout out to what they do for the community and beyond. The craziest thing of it all, Cowboy Nation, we do this because of you all, right? We the voice for the voiceless, and the 3-letter and the 4-letter network got their state of opinions. They have their mind set on certain things as far as clicks and views. But what happens when you just casually talking to someone and you're not out for the views, right? You're not out for the clicks. I'm quite sure that all of us, if we know that we can put money behind this and pay for advertisements and pay for views and do all of those things, there's some people that do that, and there's no shade at that, But authentically speaking, this is where you can come to and vent and rant and voice your opinion. And we have long segments, longer than Jay Leno's chin and Shaq feet and all of this stuff, right? And that's what makes this crowd space one of the best throughout all of content creations, is being able to come here to have a cup of coffee and have a conversation about football, whether we all agree or disagree, right? So what happens with the 3-letter and the 4-letter networks, they only have 10 to 15 minutes to spit out a topic or less than that, and they don't dive deep into a team. So now you get an in-depth study with us, and that's what Brian Broadus is saying. That's what Jeff Kavanaugh is saying, is that in this space, whereas you can be yourself, you can swear if you want to, you can go to commercial if you want to, you can do whatever you want, right? We free over here. So shout out to Brian Broadus, man. Independency is always the way, right? And I encourage everybody, Dak Owens, right? Shout out to you, Jameson. Thank you for jumping in, Taylor. Everybody, Sadiq, appreciate you. Charles 5194, appreciate you. So everybody's name is different, but same results, right? So what I'm getting at is for us to dissect this team the best way, and we're gonna do just that, Cowboy Nation. I thank y'all, and we are live on multiple platforms, as well as we will be on the Apple. We relaunched that one, so if you got your Apple podcast, you can jump on over there and jump on and listen to this episode commercial free and all of this stuff, right? But when y'all hear that music, y'all know I'm about to get into something, right? We're about to get into something, right? And let's get it the best way possible, Cowboy Nation. Let me see if I got this right. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And the things that we're about to get into is this one particular topic line for your mind. Let's see if we can listen to it right now. Let me know. Put a 2 in the chat if y'all can hear this audio.
Moves. Number one, this is the least surprising of any I've done in the last 2 days. Brian Schottenheimer is a one and done. Jerry will know by Thanksgiving he made a huge mistake. Forget the fact that Philadelphia and Washington will probably both blow them out in division twice. We've got a lot of...
Yeah. Now he says that Philly and Washington going to blow out, Dallas twice. As I sip on my beverage here of choice, I'm going to tell y'all that that's bullsugar, not the beverage. But what Colin Cowherd had to say about that. Now, granted, the Eagles did beat us twice last season. But let me know, when was the last time the Eagles blew out the Cowboys? When 4 was playing. I just need to know. I want to know. I got to know. If my memory served me correct, didn't the Cowboys split? Didn't they split the Washington team last season? Did they split the Washington team, or did they blew us out twice last season? I need to know. I got to know, and come on with it, Cowboy Nation. Y'all got to tell me. Yeah. Washington didn't blow us out last year, and Dak wasn't even playing. So how in the world, all of a sudden, when we get more and more resources, more and more pieces, that all of a sudden the Cowboys are going to get blown out? Now, here's the thing. The craziest part of it all is, I get it. We talk about the Cowboys playoff droughts and these sorts of things. But it's not like when we go to the postseason, if we have to play the Eagles, the Washington, or dare I say the Giants, it's not like they're going to do anything about it. They can barely beat us. When we have 4, I would wish and I would love to see us meet the Eagles or the Washington team in the postseason, right? But we only get a chance to play those boys in the regular season. But they haven't been blown out. And, it's just for what it is. Get your act together. Yeah.
One and done's happening now. David Culley, Steve Wilkes, Urban Meyer, Nathaniel Hackett, Antonio Pierce, Jared Mayo. People liked Antonio Pierce. I mean, the Raiders played a lot of people tough, including the Chiefs. One and done happens all the time now. And as the NFC, there was about a 3-year window to make hay in the NFC where it was kind of soft. As John's pointed out, the coaching and the NFC are no longer soft. And I think Dallas is going to be humiliated on a lot of Sundays. That's my first surprise.
I'm going to go with
surprise moves. Number one.
If you agree with Colin Cowherd, put a 0 in the chat. If you disagree with Colin Cowherd, put a 1 in the chat. Let's see where we at. Yeah, because at this point and at this time, I get the notion to hate and spit upon this team for 30 years and 30 seasons. But he haven't been here for that time. Yeah, Colin is dumped on his head again, All right, Kevin, Dak, Edgar, Tamika. Okay, all I'm seeing is 1s in the chat, Come on, where them 1s at? Yeah, Eric Stewart, 3167, he agrees with him. So, there's only 1 0 out of all of the 1s we have. So the only 1 0 that we have, that's the only thing that's going to blow out anything, because that 1 0 love to blow. And they love to blow it out when it's hanging out, I guess. So that's the only 1-0. Philly, what's up, Law? This is Philly D4874. He says, what's up, Law? And my buddy Sadiq, East always plays tough against each other. They do. Yeah. And I think that due to the fact of this particular principle, that because the Cowboys are located in the West, but we play in the East, that's a whole nother situation. They know we the beast, But when they were saying NFC lease, that was all fabricated to take away from the Cowboys. Yeah. When I tell you guys that NFC, when they was going around, because you already know who came up with that terminology of wordplay, when they come up with these type of things, it's still to take away from the Cowboys. Let me say this again. When they came up with the NFC lease, it was a wordplay to take away from the Cowboys. I kid you guys not, but there's no division in the National Football League that got more rings in the NFC East. There's no division in the National Football League that every particular team got a ring. But there's one division that every team got a ring, and that's the NFC East. So by numbers and math alone, we are the best. We are the best in the NFL. And we play each other rough and rugged, right? Now, if you also, within the confines of the numbers' sake, if you look up the rivalry between, or the numbers of games won between the individuals, in the words of Nate Dogg and them,
nobody does it better. They can come closer than close, yeah.
Come on with it.
Original they never will be.
Nobody in this particular division come close to the win-to-loss ratio of what the Cowboys are overshadowing the Giants. Look up all-time winning record between Dallas Cowboys and the Giants. Let me know what y'all come up with.
Nobody
can't make this stuff up.
does it better.
To that degree, ladies and gentlemen, look up all-time winning record of the Cowboys versus Washington team.
Nobody.
Come on with it.
Take the money out, all of it.
Does it better.
Come on.
Facts. This is not up for debate.
Come on.
And last, and they are least, you know what I'm saying? But lastly, look up the all-time record of the Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
They can come closer than close, yeah. Original they never will be.
Bro, we've been on a sabbatical for 30 years and 30 seasons, and nobody can even close the gap. Yeah, they can't even close the gap, so we on top of things. As they say, it's lonely at the top. We are. Look it up. So they keep moving the goalposts. We are the standards. Yeah. We are the standards. Head-to-head rivalry. We on top of everybody. We on top of everybody. They on the bottoms. They on their bottom so much, they got a permanent spot right there. Eric is used to it. His knees done built all type of calculus that he don't need knee pads anymore. His knees perfect fit for the ground to sit down and suck off on anything that we do. That's why he's here. Let me know if I'm lying. You know, if I'm live, he live. Down on his knees. Yeah. Let me know if I'm lying. See, this is why they wants to be here. This is why they wants to be here.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Is this why you come in here to suck off on the Cowboys?
Are you not entertained?
Your team just won the freaking Super Bowl, and he's here. Calluses is what I meant to say, Dak Owens. It just came out differently. Yeah.
Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me?
Yeah, he got a permanent position, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I can't make this stuff up. He don't need knee pads, you know. That needs just sit there. Yeah, yeah. Oh, he do need a knee pads? Yeah, permanently. Yeah. But neither here nor there. We welcome you. You know, just use less beak over there. You know what I'm saying? Stop, get them beaks off of us, you know?
Oh, yeah, Schotty. Brian Schottenheimer's a great football coach. I think it was a great hire. I think that team can really surprise some people this year. They got a great trade, George Pickens. That's going to help. You have two dynamic receivers. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the defense, and that's going to open up the run game and other facets on offense too. But I think Brian Schottenheimer, you know, he's going to surprise a lot of people.
So, now I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I got a point to it, you know? I got a point to it. Ain't this right, Jerry?
What's your point? What's your point? Okay, so what?
Here's my point. Do y'all think that Colin Cowherd knows more football than Tony Romo? You know, do y'all think, yeah, a whole shin guard, they just right, Sugar Daddy, what, Williams, 67, boy. But do y'all think that Colin Cowherd knows more football than Tony Romo? I just need to know. Y'all put it in the chat. Put 9 in the chat if you know for sure that Romo knows more football than Colin Cowherd, and just put 0 in the chat if you think that Colin Cowherd knows more football than Tony. You know, my guy Drum says 79-49 versus the Washington team. Seems like a whole lot of BTA. You ain't lying. Yeah, they ain't never. I'll be somewhere in the heavens if they ever catch up with the Cowboys. 79-49, they ain't, not in my lifetime, they ain't catching up. Shoot. Yeah, but when I held that 9, all I can see was my mama's eyes. No one knows the struggle, they only see the trouble. Oh my God, man, I got the Tupac all in me now. Hail Mary, run quick.
Brian Schottenheimer's a great football coach. I think it was a great hire. I think that team can really surprise some people this year. They got.
Yeah. Man, look at the foolishness. You know. Whoever Eric Stewart 3167 is. I got something for you right here. You know. You know, by popular demands here, you know, at the end of the day, yeah. Where my guy at? Come on with it. Yeah. Won't you lean forward just a little bit? Yeah, lean forward just a little bit. Yeah.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
It's contagious because Leon got it a little bit too, 74-70. Yeah, whoever they may be. But neither here nor there, Cowboy Nation. Do me a huge favor, continue to hit that like button, share this content. Sharing is caring, and put a 4 in the chat once you did it all. You know, if you like this and if you shared this content, put a 4 in the chat. All right, so when we get this thing going the best way possible, let's talk about the other praises that people been giving Shotty in these particular lights, because we got to figure this out one way or another about Schottenheimer. Is he able and eligible to get things moving for us. Let me see if I can find this audio clipping. Give me 1 second as we build the plane as we fly. Here we go.
What are kind of your inspirations?
Well, going back to Brian. Brian is one of my better friends in the league. Okay, we go back to New York Jet days, spending time at his house, dinners with his dad, his mom, and he comes from a great family. I don't use the word great too often. I think people use it all the time, but great to me is something that comes around every once in a while, not every damn day. Mm-hmm. Well, that man comes from a great family, and he was born to be a head coach.
Now, that's Anthony Land. He's talking about Schottenheimer, and he said he was born to be a great coach. All right, let's listen.
Raised by the mother that he had and the father, and he was really hot at one time, and then he got a little cold, but I was so happy to see him get his opportunity because the people are going to be – I'm not going to be surprised, but I think he's going to turn some heads. He is a natural head coach. I remember sitting in the meeting room in an install one day, and I looked over at LaDainian Thomason, and I said, I play for him, and he's that type of guy, man. So you guys got a really good one, a really good one.
All right, so how do y'all feel about that, Coach? I don't know if he's still coaching for the Washington team or not, but he was in some capacity with them last season, and then of course Anthony Land, he coached here in Dallas before. Let me know how y'all dissect that particular version of it. Clarence haven't looked at that, buddy. How y'all feel about that? Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Is this a situation where it's, hey, I'm just leveraging myself just in case something happened? I can come back here to Cowboys land. Or is that authentic? Is that something real? Let me know how y'all feel about that. Yeah. Jerry Jones, get your damn act together. Jerry indeed. Yeah. Here's my thoughts on it. I think that Shotty should be good enough. Principles and concepts of it is run the ball to open up the pass. But also now you have 2 wide receivers that can account for certain things, right? And that's just for what it is. Let's listen to this part of it.
Have you also gotten the sense that people have really jumped on board with Brian Schottenheimer, if for nothing else, just because of the press conferences and some of the...
Let me start over from here. Listen
Have you
carefully.
also gotten the sense that people have really jumped on board with Brian Schottenheimer, if for nothing else, just because of the press conferences and some of the stuff he says? And I know that has nothing to do with the actual football product, but we're starved for positivity here in the Metroplex as Cowboys fans. So do you get the sense that's really helped win a lot of people over?
Oh, there's no question about it. I don't think that from the day he's been hired till now, I don't think that he's done anything wrong, really. The way he's handled it has been perfect. But the thing I always say about that, though, is that all of that will be erased quickly if there's poor results on Sundays in September, October, November, December. And so, but up to this point, I don't know how you could handle it any better than he's handled it from, and let's not act like, now they made more moves in the offseason than they did a year ago. I think they had a strong draft, but let's not act like there hasn't been any drama. I mean, Micah Parsons still doesn't have a new contract. Trayvon Diggs wasn't at OTA. So, I mean, there's that typical Cowboys type drama that seems to come every offseason, and I think he's handled all of that very well. And the one thing I will say that I think it will be a strength for him is I don't see him getting that bothered by stuff that Jerry might do or say during the season, whether it be after a game or on the radio with you guys. I think he's pretty well equipped to handle that type of distraction and things like that. So really for me, the question marks just come for on Sunday. And it's not just because it's his first time as a head coach, but it's the fact that he'll be a head coach and the offensive play caller.
That's John Machota, man. And shout out to 105.3 The Fan and those boys over there. Great observation, measured, by the way. John Machota is not a Cowboys fan, so that's why it's always great. He's a beat writer for The Athletic and beyond, so I think that what John Machota is doing here is a great thing. It's being able to identify this level of saying, okay, yeah, everything is peaches and cream now. But what happens when it's mid-November and December, right? And let's not act as if, though, he haven't handled these situations. I'm just regurgitating what he's saying. Basically, the Michael Parsons thing, we know that's that, right? The Trayvon Diggs thing, we know that the recovery aspect, we can't wait to see him out there on the field. But when you look back at everything that Schotty is doing, win or lose, I just like the ideology of how he's handling the room. And he's putting things out so that people can know what to do in these particular measures, meaning that I'm going to build an environment. Your environment is everything of competition. Compete on every level, whether it's ping pong, whether it is literally shooting a paper ball into a hoop. These are things that we have to also look into. Yeah, and Jeremy says he turned down opportunities on his own. Yeah, so we can't dog him for that. Here's the other thing that I do like about the Schotty hire altogether. It's not like this is his first time interacting with the Joneses. He's seen the failures of Mike McCarthy. He's seen the failures of Kellen Moore to that degree. He's seen the failures of Dan Quinn. And likewise, he's seen the success of all of those boys within the confines of that particular building. So he knows how to navigate this. And it's nothing like when it's time for you to drive the car, right? See, we like to lump people all into that same vehicle, as if though everybody drive the exact same way. If you have siblings, let me know in the chat if you have siblings and you all, when you first learned to drive the car or the automobile, you can't sit there and say, well, I drive exactly like my brother or my sister. No, you're your own person. So when it's your time to drive, you know what to do, baby. And that's what it is. It's the same automobile, the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is in the car. Yeah, I get all of that. He's telling you do this, do that. But now you behind the wheel, baby. You know? I ain't listening to Jerry this time. Jerry saying, go right, go right. No, it's time for me to go left. Go left, go left. No, even though you putting the gas in the car, Jerry. Watch me do me, you know? And that is what Schotty is doing with this particular situation. Yes, Bass says the man been in the shadow to another guy ahead of him for 26 years. He got a chip on his shoulder, something to prove. I guess you're talking about Schotty, yeah. And been in the shadows for that long. Shout out to you, Leon Ware. Appreciate you. Thank you for jumping in. Yeah. So Philly states having a great positioning coach. Most important. Jimmy Johnson even says that. Yeah, you know, you got to have your team. You can go fast by yourself, but you can go further with someone else. And if you trust your team, then, man, you know, when you building something and you getting things going, there's nothing impossible that you can't compete with or finish if everyone is on the same page. Yeah. If you are all on the same page, there's nothing impossible for you to do. I even read that in the Word somewhere. Yeah. Nothing is impossible for you to complete and accomplish. And those are things that I truly believe that the most exciting part about all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is not just Schotty being the head coach, but his contemporaries. Matt Eberflus, who was a head coach for the Chicago Bears, who's now the DC for the Cowboys. He can look at his pitfalls and his faults. You learn more from your failures than your success. And now, when I got a chance to talk to him, he said, I've see this team as the most talented team that I ever get a chance to coach. We got skilled playmakers on every level. And that was off the record. I love it. He could have capped and said, man, blah, blah, blah. But no, he didn't. And that's what we like about this.
Jonah Javad, WFAA. Brian, your enthusiasm in practice, your energy with players, from what we see and from what we've heard from players, it kind of jumps out to us. How important is that to you as a head coach to kind of bring
Listen
that
properly.
to your guys? Why do you feel that's important? And what was the genesis of all of that? Has that just been rooted in you from day one, or did you have to practice that as a coach versus maybe as a player?
Well, it's actually funny that you asked me that question, and I'll answer. And the reason I smile is the way we practice and the way that I act at practice. My father is looking down from heaven going, what are you doing? Like, that's not how you practice. But my father also coached a long time ago. And the type of athletes and type of young men that we're dealing with has changed. I believe that it's the coach's responsibility first and foremost to create a great practice environment. What do I mean by that? If we don't have energy and we're not into it and we're not running around and we're not talking shit, then the players aren't going to be able to do that.
Oh, boy! Yeah!
Is Shotty good enough, ladies and gentlemen? How many times we've been docile? How many times this team been lethargic on things? You are who you be around. You become what you think. And this should be a high energy team. This should be a team that's going to fight and play through the echoes of the whistle. You install all of that stuff now. You don't wait till August and say, you know what? We're going to try to get it going now. You don't wait till September, week 1, and be like, hey, let's start now. Let's start now to be a culture team. No. It's embrace now. What Coach Marv said, you bleed more in peace. You bleed less in war, or something of that nature. Or you sweat more in peace, you bleed. Yeah. You sweat more in peace, and then you bleed more in war. Something like that. Well, I messed up that statement altogether. Coach Marv, bail me out. But you guys get what I'm saying. Basically, let me do this. If you fight more now to hold your ground on competition, competitiveness, on top of that, on standing on business now, and when it's time to go to war, it'll be a breeze. That's a better way to say it. Y'all help me out with the statement from Coach Marv if he's watching. That is what this particular coach is trying to exemplify. I'm trying to set the table, set the tone, and we're getting things going the best way possible now. So when September comes, we'll be ready. Is it September the 4th, y'all? When we play against those Eagles? Yeah, you sweat more in the heat than you in the Cold War. Come on, Jerry Jones. Appreciate you. You know, that part. You sweat more in the heat than in the Cold War. Somebody get that quote together for me.
Because they're going to follow our lead. And when we show them that we're going to let our personality shine and we're going to be who we are and be joyful out of practice, then they're going to do that. And I think what I would say reminded me of that and what I really fell for that was my years in Seattle. I think I've talked to you guys a little bit about Pete. I mean, I remember Pete being, sorry, Pete, if I'm wrong, 72 or 1 at the time, and him running around the practice field with more energy than me, who was 40-something at the time. I'm like, damn, I got to get in shape. But I believe it. Like, I watched some incredible athletes that late in the season went out to practice, and maybe they didn't really feel like practicing, but when the coaches bring the juice and the energy and the vibe, then they're going to follow suit. And that's...
Yeah. Since we got a few Eagle fans in here, shout out to them. Nicholas Sirianni. He may not be the best or the greatest X's and O's guy. And he got that punchable face. Yeah, he got a very punchable face. But he brings a lot of energy. Now, granted, Howie Roseman there may go out and try to get the creme de la creme, the best of the best that's open on the available market. But one thing I know for sure, Nicholas Sirianni brings a lot of energy to the sideline. With the punchable face, too. You know. And we've been in the last 20 years, maybe, very docile a little bit to the sideline. I mean, one guy, you know, all he did was this. Clapped. All he did was clap. And the other guy, he just, you know, hey, he just like anything, you know. You know, I don't know if I have it anymore. Yeah, that guy right there, all he did was clap. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Jerry's son, you know. Yeah, and he wasn't animated. I'm not saying you got to be animated to be able to be on the sideline. But we had that on the sideline for 13 years. 13 years, collectively. And the other guy, where he at? Where he at? This guy was on the sideline. Folded arms. The countenance on his face. Hey, I guess he tried to do that disheveled look. You know, don't sling it down. Don't throw the tablet away. The tablet didn't do nothing with it. But that's what we had on the sideline. Look. I'm not trying to beat up that. I'm not trying to belittle Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett football knowledge and acumen. I'm not doing it. But what I'm getting at is that you become pieces of your coach. You know, you become like that disheveled look. You be like, dang, I'm going to adopt that disheveled look, because confidence is very contagious. It's very contagious. You got to walk into the room as you've been there before, as you own it, you know. Tablet Mike, your round of applause, Jason Garrett. You know, it's just for what it is. And I'm not taking it away from 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. I'm not taking that away from Mike McCarthy. I'm not taking it away. But what I am taking away is the mindset of this team when it's nut-cutting time, you know. Where's the energy? You know, where is it? Y'all get what I'm saying. And if we offended anyone, charge it to my head, not my heart, you know. You know, so the process of all of this is very much so necessary. And even when it's time for you to explain the good and the bad, you got to be able to do it.
And then I know for a fact I've called a lot of really, really shitty plays, and they end up working, and you're like, how did that work? Because somebody on our side made a terrific play. So I think that probably happens more times than not. You call a play, and you're like, eh.
Transparency. We got to get better, right? And Schotty is expressing. This is when his Seattle days. I love the fact that this kid or this man can be able to tell you guys the truth and give you football flavorings with it.
And then I know for a fact I've called a lot of really, really shitty plays, and they end up working, and you're like, how did that work? Because somebody on our side made a terrific play. So I think that probably happens more times than not. You call a play, and you're like, eh.
My point. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so, and we love this.
They said, what's in the cup?
It's a shotty.
Yo!
You can't tell me, and you can't out-explain this, but you can explain this part right here. These boys will be willing to fight for Schotty. That's just the bottom line. They're going to be willing to fight for him. All right, here's my guy right here.
Sanjay Lal with us on the Matt Mosley Show, Chargers wide receivers coach.
What was your first thought when you heard Brian Schottenheimer had been hired as the Cowboys head coach, knowing you had crossed paths with him in Indianapolis, I think back in 2017? I just kind of curious, the coaching community, especially the people who knew Brian, what was your first reaction? Were you surprised, happy? What were your first thoughts when you heard that?
One word, and it's my honest opinion. I thought finally. So I for one.
You said, thought finally. We are here. We are here. Yeah. And we getting things going the best way possible, ladies and gentlemen. We got this. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about this, Cowboy Nation. We are here in the mix. Let's listen to him.
One, I've worked with him as a position coach, and he's been a coordinator also when I've worked for him. And I always wondered why he didn't get more recognition, because I feel he has all the traits a head coach should have.
Well, that's interesting. What stood out when you first coached with him, and then even when he was a coordinator? What was it about him that made you think that he projected as a really good head coaching candidate?
One, you either have a presence or you don't. I felt he did. I felt he didn't have to try and manufacture that.
Listen properly.
In football and on the offensive side. He's demanding. I like demanding coaches. I am one. Some people don't like that, but I love it. And he's self-aware. There was a period in time, one story I can share. I don't remember if he was out of the league or between jobs before he got to Dallas. I don't remember the exact situation, but I received a call from his agent or someone he had employed and said, would you be willing to tell us where Schotty can improve, where he has failed in the past? He's using this time as a self-assessment from everyone he's worked with, and it'll be anonymous, and he just wants feedback during this period on what can he do better when he gets his next shot. So that's the type of guy you're dealing with.
Wow.
And that was impressive to me. I said, you can put my name on it, and I'll give you all the information if that helps him even more, because I had nothing to hide.
He said he got nothing to hide. He ready to put his name on it. He ready to co-sign. And speaking of co-signing, for those who support the nation and want to see the elevation of the nation grow, at this time, there's a link right there in the chat area. And if you guys can do me a huge favor and subscribe and join this page right here, this is independency of the website that is curated with intentions to be the hub of end-all be-all of Law Nation sports information that rules the nation as it relates to Cowboys content. So if you guys can subscribe to this, just go down here and click that subscribe button, let me know. And so far, we have about 10 individuals that subscribe. We got 10 people here. We growing the nation one step at a time. So with the 10 people that support the nation, man, put a 5 in the chat. If you subscribe to Law Nation Sports, that website there, put a 5 in the chat. And so far, it's only been 10 individuals. So if you guys can support the nation, there will be very much so a blessing for me, and I really appreciate you guys for doing such. Just put a 5 in the chat once you subscribe to the nation. I really appreciate that so much. But let's keep moving, man. In other news, dedication is always a major thing, but before we go into that dedication mode, I appreciate y'all, man, for subscribing. Yeah. So we get that report back. It should be more than 10 people. But shout out to the 10 individuals that subscribe. But before we go into that details, let's pause right quick for a quick break. And be sure that when you tune in to this, you got to be in control of your odor. and you know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about control. And first and foremost, I'm talking about control body odor, and that's anywhere. And all you have to do is shop.mando and get $5 off of your starter pack, and that's over 40% with promo code LAW. Shopmando.com. Let's go. I use this body wash odor control, full body control with Mando. They have the product here, and they also have deodorant that you apply under the arm for 72 hours of odor control. You want to be in control. And speaking of control, they also have the product that you can apply all over the body, the invisible cream, and it also fights for 72 hours. Look, it's all about being in control. And with Mando, man, they control body odor anywhere. All you have to do is shop.mando, get $5 off your starter pack. That's over 40% with promo code LAW. Shopmando.com. Let's go, and let's stay in control of your odor. I love it.
Let's go, man! Let's go!
No doubt, no doubt. Let's stay in control. And speaking of control, in control body odor everywhere. Now, Mando is good. But when it's your turn to watch the baby and you try to make kicks and you try to make sure that you don't scare the baby off, it's good to have a little Mando on. Now, I've tested Mando a lot. Now, I'm not saying that it'll work on the baby bottom, but you guys can give it a shot because when them babies go, they go. But this is dedication for the nation, ladies and gentlemen. Without hesitations nor deviations to the matter, Brandon Aubrey is out there with babysitting duties, and he's working on his craft. He is by far one of the best kickers in the National Football League, especially since the other guy for the Ravens, I think he's all caught up in the jam on doing some crazy stuff, but neither here nor there. Brandon Aubrey last year was one of the bright spotlights of the Cowboys. People were literally saying, man, shoot, he may be the MVP of this team because nobody else was showing up, not even 4 at times because you know how he was looking, and not even 88, not even, 15 or 21, whoever it may be for Ezekiel Elliott. But this guy was showing up on Sundays, on Mondays, on Thursday night football. Brandon Aubrey, yeah, come on with it, man. This guy right here is amazing. So that's dedication. Now, there's some people watching right now. They're dedicated just like Brandon Aubrey. They may have all that you can think of with the kids and everything, and they are literally got their children right there with them now, and they're working. So shout out to all of the dedicated dads out there. But that right there, that Brandon Aubrey, man, he's on point with it, man. And let me know, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys do the same thing. And speaking of pressure, I got a chance to also be in the mix with this over here, but I just want to show you guys that pressure busts pipes, right? But it also make diamonds. In the triple darkness of the heat, through all types of coal, rocks, lumps, something can come out of it when it's pressure with heat. And it's a diamond. One of the hardest substances on this planet, right? On other planets, there's other things, right? But I'll tell y'all about that on another time. The Grays know about it, Shout out to the Grays. But neither here nor there. And we're going to listen to this right here. Watch this right here. Let's go ahead and play this clip right here.
That's it.
Yeah.
1, 2. Step over 2. 1. Back. 1.
Yeah.
Yep. 2. 1. Double jab right. 1. Yep. Step. Yep. Step. Yep.
Yeah.
2 of them. 2 of them. Just 1.
Pressure.
Jab it. Shoot the right. Yep. Hook. Yep. Tip. Yep. Rotate. Rotate. Back. Yep.
Get him inside, man. 1, 2.
Jab right.
So with that being said, This brother right here is doing anything and everything. He get his hands correctly, right? Staying mentally focused. He's really in tune with it. Now, Brock, that's the Brock Hoffman, he's literally fighting for a spot on this team. Now, granted, we know that Tyler Booker was drafted in the first round, and you don't draft a first-round talent guy or a first-round player to put him on the bench unless he's Tyler Guyton. Oops, I said that out loud, right? But you don't draft Tyler Booker the way they drafted Tyler Booker to then in return to say, you know what, let me just put Brock Hoffman over him. No. So I do like this, at the end of the day, when we start to think about Brock Hoffman and what he did last year with the mean streak and everything, he's on to something. And even though this is not pass, it's not football, that's extra stuff that he's getting shaped for, you can't dog that, ladies and gentlemen. You definitely can't dog that at all, ladies and gentlemen. You can't dog it. Now, you can attempt to sell it and denigrate it, but it won't go smoothly. Yeah. But before we get into these details of everything, Dak Prescott held a miniature camp, and he was talking about the things that they are doing together so that they can elevate and be scaled and grow and do things even more. This Dak Prescott, of course, that's CD Lamb and things, and they are working. They're working out. There's Lamb, and they've been throwing the ball around, and hopefully there's Ryan Flanoy, and then that is, what's his name, Joe Milton and Dak Prescott with the brotherly hugs right there, and that Jalen Tolbert, getting things going. Ferg said, hey, I'm going to show all of y'all, those who doubted me, I'm going to give you guys I'm going to show y'all what I can do. And that's Lamb getting right and getting ready. And, of course, these boys are putting in extra time. Chemistry is everything. Schoonmaker is even out there. We just seeing the love and the adulations from this team. Yeah. Now, why they can't give us the Joe Milton and the CD Lamb side by side? What's going on? Shout out to you, Matt. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing this on Twitter. And why they can't get that look right there? But, yeah, neither here nor there. It's serious, man, when they sitting there sipping water out of that tube right there and in the sauna and everything. So these boys, well, that's not a sauna, it's just in the room. But these guys, they're getting educated on health. They're getting motivated to get things going in the proper ways. Cowboy Nation, my thoughts on this, that's true leadership. We need to talk about this more than anything. They could be doing thousands of other things. They could be joyriding, speed racing outside of the club, man, barefooted. They could be doing crazier things than that. But it's good to see that this team is gelling together on a great pathway. But if you somehow, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is watching this and you're thinking, okay, well, what's next then, Law? What's next? What happened if you on the job and this happened and this occurred, Law? What happened if this occurred? What happened if this occurred? You see the man trying to fix the red light and the truck just kept going and he's hanging. Man, don't you know how big of a payday this could be for him? Oh my goodness, man. And if he's not hurt, well, he should be hurt. You know what I'm saying? But if he need to call somebody, who he need to call, let me get somebody on the phone for him because this will help him out tremendously.
It starts from the first phone call. Most of the time, you're going to talk to Gene Burkett, a 30-year partner. You're not going to talk to some employee that just got put on the phones that day.
There are things that are so crucial, especially if it's a cataclysmic event, to have our experts get out and look at the vehicle, witness statements, photos, the whole thing.
Call Frenkel first. Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frenkel first.
That's 214-817 and all of the threes you can dial. Now, think of this. They're located here in the heart of Dallas. Dallas have about 9,000 individuals a month to move to this city. That's a lot of folks, man. And speaking of that, too, if you can't get to that number, visit frankelfirm.com. If that was me, you see how he moving all upside down? Man, I'll be upside down. Hey, 817-33333. Hey, Franco! I'll be on the phone upside down, bro. I'm for real. Yeah. Boom. Hey. Watch how he say, I've been yelling, hand me my phone. Hand me my phone. He's still twisting the wire together. Look at that dedication right there. Look at that dedication right there. He's still twisting the wire. But I would have been on the phone saying, hey, my breakthrough came through. Because I'm about to call my people. Frenkel and Frenkel personal injury lawyers. I'm hurt on the job. I can't go back to work. Yeah. That's 657-390-7391. And let me know, how y'all feel about that. But the hotline for your mind is 657-390-7391. Give me a call if you want to on this beautiful Friday. We can ask about the things that need to be necessary. You got 2 minutes. If nobody call in, then I'll have me an early Friday off. Come on with it. Shout out to you, Sugar. Appreciate you. Thank you, Richard. Thank you for jumping in. Philly, East Coast need to be better than. Okay, I feel you. Did any money fall out of his pocket? I don't think so. That would be wild. Money, he get hit by that, and then all of a sudden you hear this right here. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. But no doubt, man. Appreciate everybody for jumping in on this day. And with all of that being said, Cowboy Nation, we going to get on up out of here. Thank y'all for jumping in. With that being said, on this beautiful Friday, I hope all is well. I thank y'all for y'all support. I thank y'all for jumping in. And we're going to depart and get on up out of here, Cowboy Nation. One day at a time, one movement at a time, brick by brick, we stack these together. And enjoy the weekend, and let's get things going the best way possible, Cowboy Nation. There will be some more and more content floating around, things that we've been doing this off season, and we got some things that's rolled up under our sleeves that we're going to do. Shout out to Sam Williams. We got an event tomorrow, and there will be more and more things. To check out my Instagram page or my Twitter page for the details of that event, which happening tomorrow. In closing, Cowboy Nation, my thoughts on Shotty. Is he good enough? I think he is. I think he is good enough. But can he be great? That's up to him. Good is one standard. Great is a whole nother standard. In order for you to be great, you got to be good. You can't pass good. And that's what we should be seeing for the 2025 year. Don't hesitate. Don't sit back and put things back. Continue to press forward and move forward. One day at a time, put one foot in front of the other. Everything else will work its way out, Cowboy Nation. Everything work its way out. And as they say, tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream, for a soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is real, and life is earnest, and the grave is not his goal. Dust thy art, to dust return, was not even spoken of this world or soul. Those things. But be not like a dumb-driven cattle, but be that hero in the strife. Lives of great men all remind us we can live our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints on this mighty sands of time. Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's get it.